Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to talk and decode about PaaS and serverless, right? So I'm going to walk you through what are the differences between each and how those are being used and how those are being used for different use cases and useful for scenarios, right? Now you might be saying, okay, serverless is the same as PaaS and vice versa, but there are many differences as well. So you need to understand both of those scenarios when you should go ahead and use serverless and when you should go ahead and use PaaS services, right? So at the end of the day, you will come to know, okay, what are the base differences and basis on that, how you are going to select or you will get a selection guidance on it, right? So basically, even if you are a person who is working on a as a developer or administrator or architect, you should definitely be able to identify those scenarios, and basis on that, you should be able to uh, do this selection of services so that those would be utilized for different requirements, right? So let's jump on, and I'm going to walk you through the presentation to understand it better way, and you should be able to gather the correct details, right? So starting from what is PaaS, right? So PaaS is something platform as a service, which is a completely managed environment to build and run the application within the cloud environment, right? Now we all know PaaS is something which is everything pre-configured, pre-built, not 100% pre-configured or 100% pre-built, but the underlying infrastructure is going to be ready for us, and we just need to go ahead and deploy our applications and let them run, right? And to do that, definitely we can simply spin up some of the services and get the things set up. That's going to be quick, easy, and straightforward as well, instead of doing the same thing in the infrastructure as a service, right? Or similar to the SaaS, but SaaS has a different infrastructure or underlying capabilities that we really don't manage. So we do also follow the shared responsibility model in the PaaS as well. So you can see that it is going to be abstract infrastructure management, but requires provisioning resources to be able to utilize those capabilities or those resources for our needs. And it is going to be always on long running services. And you can see some of the examples over here, including Azure App Service, Azure SQL databases. AWS has its own Elastic Beanstalk and RDS service, and GCP has its own services, App Engine, and Cloud SQL, right? So these are those scenarios or services which falls under the PaaS, right? And that is going to be allowed and be available for usage. Now let's understand what is serverless, right? So serverless is abstracts all infrastructure, focusing only on code level, right? You really don't end up spinning any underlying infrastructure, underlying capabilities, but it is going to be also event driven, stateless, and scales automatically when needed, right? And it you can see that when it comes to the execution and the usage, it is going to be pay per execution or depending on the usage, right? So you can understand over here from the point of cost and efficiency, you will get to know what are the better ways or better differences between both of these, so that you can know more and you would get an idea and deciding factor whether you should go with the PaaS service or you should go with the stateless or serverless capabilities or serverless features and functions, right? So for example, Azure have Azure functions, event grids, AWS has its Lambda and step functions, and GCP has a cloud functions and a cloud run that we can utilize as serverless capabilities, right? Now, let's talk a bit about both of those in comparison between, right? So into PaaS, we can see pre-provisioned resources, everything is set up, and we just need to spin up those and bring it up, and we should be able to use it, which is also available long running services and pay for reserved capacities. So whatever the capacities that we are going to bring on and reserve, then it's going to be reserved for that, and we would end up paying for that whether we are using it or not, right? But into the serverless, it is completely opposite to that, which is starting from on-demand capacity reservation. It is also event driven. If it is something is happening at the source or destination, then only something should happen at the next stage or next level, right? So for example, at the source, there is an connection string that is maybe trying to pull some data or push a data request, then only it is going to hit the another endpoint to be able to trigger that actions and then take the next steps. And whatever the duration was that executed and performed and used, then only it is going to be costing you that particular charge or amount, whatever it is, right? Otherwise, it is not going to cost upon any of those reservations, right? So reservation is something basis on the on demand in the serverless, but into the PaaS, it is going to the reserved capacity at all, right? So you can understand that way here, which is a stateless function and paper execution. So on the cost effective side, stay serverless is a great way to execute, as well as it is going to take and do lot many stuff instead of reserving capacity with the PaaS or infrastructure as service. Then serverless is going to be the way beyond that one. So it is been said that, and many organizations and requirements are being used and executed with the serverless capabilities as well. Now, how to select between PaaS and serverless, right? So you can understand, or you would end up saying, okay, I have this needs or this requirement, whether I should choose PaaS service or I should go with a serverless, right? So you can understand with the few points that I mentioned here, including always on apps with steady traffic, then stateful workloads, including databases, complex configurations and networking, then it's going to be the PaaS, right? And choosing the serverless when there is event-driven workloads, unpredictable traffic with spikes up and down, right? And then cost optimization for idle workloads, right? Now, it is always not the right to choose the serverless or the PaaS services, right? So it is totally depending on the use cases and needs of the scalability, performance, efficiency, security, and everything together. So that's the combination of everything that is a part of selection of services between PaaS or serverless, or it could be from the SaaS as well as from the infrastructure as a services, right? So definitely this is not a one size fit for all. Instead, it is going to be the basis on needs and the ground level requirements that you are going to do, or you will end up by selecting the respective services. So that way it is going to be the right one. And there would be an approach that we should also be taking to analyze that thoroughly, what is going to be happening, what is needed in this scenario, basis on short-term and long-term goals as well, right? So that is how it is going to be, and definitely is going to be helpful into those scenarios. You can see the scenarios side by side, including for commerce, e-commerce, data pipeline, and IoT processing, right? So I put an example over here for PaaS, which is app service, Elastic Bin Stock for main site, and serverless is for Lambda for order processing, right? So this is in combination of both PaaS plus serverless together. Similarly for data pipelines and IoT processing as well. So including PaaS has a data factory and data flows. Serverless is going to use functions for file triggers. Whatever is going to happen into the files and movement and actions should be performed based on the serverless functions that we are going to build. And on the IoT, similarly, API service for registrations and event-driven telemetry processing on the serverless side, right? So this can also be another way for us to use only what is needed with the PaaS, but the others should be executed on demand with the serverless instead of relying fully on PaaS services, right? So that's how it should be, and that's how the architecture can be built and utilized for the same. So blended approach, which is a best practice, or maybe not 100% best, because as I said, it depends on the use cases, needs, and a combination of everything together, right? So for example, combine both models for optimal solutions, as I showed you in the previous slide, which is going to also be a great way and a great approach in many scenarios and situations. But it is also important to know and understand about the criticality of applications and systems that we are going to use, and how those would be utilized, how we wanted to make sure those are available, those are scalable enough, those are performance efficient, those are reliable, as well as those are also important for the business in every situations and every scenarios, right? So some of the examples here, including web app hosted on PaaS with the app service, which is also on the another side, where background jobs, automations, and notifications are hosted with the serverless functions, right? So there is a combination of both, which is PaaS along with serverless, and it is going to balance predictability with the PaaS, with elastic or elasticity with the serverless, right? So in combination of both, it is going to be a great approach or great way to go ahead and deploy and make sure you use that effectively, right? So that's going to be the combination. And even if not that way, then either we can rely on PaaS or serverless capabilities as well. So that is it. I wanted to walk you through and make you uh, learn and understand about it. Hope you learned something new and understand about this whole approach, what you should choose and select about PaaS or serverless basically, and how that can be integrated and used, and what are the differences really, how those would be utilized in different scenarios and use cases, along with the combination of both together. And that's what it is, right? So uh, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends and people around you, so that they can also learn and know about this one. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well, right? So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.